What's good with you, man?
What's going on, man?
I'm so happy you can stop by, man. I'm glad we crossed paths, man. It's been great. Not just getting to know you as far as like business wise type stuff, man. But when I initially started piecing together the people I wanted to feature in the documentary, obviously we didn't know one another.
Right.
But through some other work-related stuff, we were able to cross paths. You emailed me, and then from that point forward, we were able to talk about a ton of different things.
Absolutely.
So, first, before we jump into it, I want the people out there to know who you are, introduce yourself, what you do, and then we can jump in talking about a number of things.
Cool. My name is Joseph. I go by Joseph Xplosive. I'm the owner of Burning
Joseph, wait, you can't just run past that real fast.
I heard it and I was like,
you just can't run
That's
past
a nice
that.
name.
Wait, he can't just run past that, Todd.
Man.
Come on, hey, Joseph Explosive.
Yes.
That sounds like a superhero.
the boom effect on there. Boom.
That's like Joseph Explosive. If I want to put no, but the reality of it is, boom. Let me get it. Drop a clues bomb, as they say in Breakfast Club. Nah, but for real though, Joseph. But first, what is that? Where you get that from, bro?
So that actually came up back in the day. I was a YouTuber.
You were what?
A YouTuber. Back in
You were a YouTuber.
Okay.
2010 to about, my main run was about 2010 to about 2013.
Okay.
And it was called Explosive Videos. So I moved up. I was out here in Arizona. I moved up to Washington on some other lifestyle stuff. Nothing bad, nothing crazy, but it's
Okay.
different than what I'm doing now. Some other lifestyle
Wait,
stuff.
I had to put the cat. I mean, I wasn't no pyromaniac. I was just trying to.
right. Well, I mean, there's other, because my email is Explosive Videos, so a lot of people, when they hear that, they be like, porn? Like, I'm eating, but nah. So anyways, I moved up to Washington, and somebody had, I checked into the VA that was up there, and the dude that was processing my stuff, he was like, I know you. And I was like, you don't know me, it's a whole different state. And he was like, no, you're a YouTuber. And so we started talking about stuff like that, and I was like blown away, because this is the first time I've been, across state lines, and somebody actually noticed me based on my YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And so he asked me, he was like, so, your name's Joseph and stuff. Do you go by Joseph Explosive? And I was like, nah. But I am
now.
So that's where that came from. So that's kind of like my I guess, on-screen moniker, and just out and about. I mean, if you search my business and stuff like that, you'll get my real name, but I figured let's put that little layer of private.
So okay,
All
since we talking about Joseph Explosive, where can they find you? I know we're gonna get to some of your business stuff, but what social media platforms are you on right now?
So social media platforms, I'm gonna plug it from like my favorite and the ones that are popping to the least. So I would say definitely Instagram.
Okay.
And that's Burning Buddah Clothing. It's Burning Buddah Clothing on whatever platform you decide to go on. But Instagram, then there's Facebook, TikTok, and then of course we were talking about that YouTube channel that I had, and it's been sitting dormant for some years. So I was like, let's convert that over to Burning Buddah. So it's no longer Explosive Videos, it's Burning Buddah Clothing. But I still go by Joseph Explosive.
Again, I was privy to learn about the Burning Buddah, where that came from. We'll get to that in a second. But this first, you sent me a link, right? And I got on some of your Instagram stuff. But then I noticed that you actually are making some dope clothing. So you blessed me with the fortunate to be able to get this one right here. And I literally love the material on this, man. Like it fits, form fitting again, but it's still enough, for the love handles. A little bit it's loose. For those who have a little bit of problem with their weight, you know what I'm saying? You want to have some breathable material, so it you don't accentuate all the extra meat. But I think.
You are, but I feel it though.
But at the end of the day, you want it to be, comfortable, breathable, right? So
sir.
if you popping one, you got one of your hoodies on right now.
Yes, sir. This is one of the more recent designs. The bigger design is on the back, but it's
Okay.
in essence the same thing. And it's Destiny Manifested. You can take that anywhere you want to, but realistically, the idea behind that is just you living this life. Of course, we all kind of are on our journeys, but it's kind of like thinking between the lines of we might have a set path, but also we can alter that path and go the direction we want to based on the choices we make. So that's how
That's pretty dope. You got to put that on a Hallmark card
Yeah,
and get
I
that
like
promoted.
I like that.
But I like that. Somebody don't steal his stuff though. You know what I'm saying? We ain't trying to have no Cedric the Entertainer stuff. And he's stealing stuff. You know what
We
I
were
mean?
here talking about Cat Williams.
Cat Williams.
Cat Williams. I
Cat
just hashed that
reference.
yesterday.
I know.
Oh,
You
but,
seen,
yeah.
you seen the responses?
Yes,
though?
I've seen the
Weak
responses.
responses.
Yeah, what are you gonna say then?
Struggling.
Struggling.
They struggling.
Struggling. But so I know, you know what I'm saying, your brand and everything is, like I said at the beginning of this, I didn't know you when I was actually putting the people that I wanted to be able to feature on the documentary.
Right.
From actors to painters to muralists to, you know, some trainers to different people, right, that show the different sides of art and the difference between art and creation. So when I met you, I was like, man, I definitely want to get him onto the bonus, you know, material so he can talk about some of the things that you were able to share with me personally. And then it's talking about the burning Buddah concept. Like we broke bread one time at one of your favorite spots.
Yes, sir.
What spot is that down?
That's Melrose Kitchen Table. They just changed the name. It's Melrose Kitchen Table. in
Fire
Phoenix.
food. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
Where's that at? Where's
Yeah.
that at?
It's right on the curb in the gay district, 7th Avenue, and I don't know, north, like 2 blocks north of Indian School, but it's right
Okay,
on
I
that
know where
weird
that's
curve.
at. I know
I
where
got
that's
you.
at.
Okay.
That's right over there on 7th Avenue. That's like the only curb in Phoenix. Everything else is great. And for some reason, well, I mean, I guess it makes sense if you think about it. That's gay district, right? And it's curved.
But at the end of the day, I'm
It's
sitting there.
not
I'm
straight.
sitting there. I'm sitting there.
My bad.
I'm sitting there trying to, and I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat. And you put me on. I was like, dude, it's actually pretty good. But during that time we breaking bread, you talked about the aspect of your clothing, or the meaning behind the burning Buddah. Why don't you share that with the people?
Yes, sir. So a lot of people, they hear burning Buddah, and they're like, you're a Buddhist. And I'm like, nah, not a
Or you
Buddhist.
smoking some weed up in that joint, son.
Which
You
is
smoking
something
flour up in that boy.
that came a little later. It took me a couple years to put that one together.
Okay.
And folks like, Buddha? And I'm
Buddah? Like, yeah.
Nah. So,
yeah.
But realistically, there was an image that I saw as a young child, and it always stuck with me. And it's the one, I'm sure everybody's seen it. It's a monk sitting in an intersection, and he's on fire. And the dude's like, looks like he's just chilling, completely on fire. So I never knew the meaning behind it, but that always just stuck in my head. It's like, wow. So I would say it was about 2017-ish, and I was sitting at home, and that image came into my head, and then I was like, you know what? If I ever started a clothing line, I don't know where this came from, but I was like, if I ever start a clothing line, I'm gonna name it Burning Buddah. And then, so that's pretty much the idea behind it. I've always kind of been a spiritual, religious type person, so it just kind of tied in. I thought it was, I researched that picture, and really what it was a monk that was out there in Saigon. His people, the monks, and just the regular town folk were being oppressed by the government and some of the religious people that were out there. They were fighting back and forth. They weren't getting any leadway, so this monk took it upon himself. He's like, you know what? If we're going to have any real change in this struggle that we're going through, we got to send an example and get the world's attention. And that's exactly what he did. He conspired with a couple other monks. He's like, hey, when we have our next big protest, I'm going to go right in the middle of this intersection. Y'all douse me, give me the match. I'm going to light myself, and that's going to get the world's attention. And realistically, it did. There was an American journalist that was out there at the time. He took a picture, and that photo ended up being printed on the front page of the newspaper. And Kennedy had seen it, and that was the thing that actually ignited everybody knowing what was going on out there. So they came in, did what they had to do. And
Wow.
So I mean,
That's deep.
you can
That's super deep. That's super deep.
You can kind of juxtaposition it with
So he made
Christianity and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I was making himself a martyr, but the reality of it is it was to spark a movement, to spark change.
Absolutely, and
Wow.
that ties in. I mean, of course, there's been some time that I've had this brand, but that ties into my motto, which is ignite your passion. I'm not telling people to catch themselves on fire, but
Obviously.
like that
We're not-
monk,
we're not
have that ferventness and
I
that
love
fire
that.
about
That is
anything
I
that
love
you're gonna
that.
do. Ignite that passion.
That is super
Like that.
dope,
That's
man.
dope.
And that's
Yeah.
and the thing
Dope.
about it, man. Just and then you go to the point where it's not just okay. It's a lot of people who be making clothes. I mean, Kanye spent a lot of money on making bum clothes, making trash bags,
Yeah,
making
Right.
making clothes that
Right.
had cuts all the way down here in the
Oh,
middle of it,
gosh.
and literally it was all one shade. And it was like I'm making stuff that's gonna rival all these. I'm like, bruh, I'm sorry, man. I can literally go buy that somewhere from a Goodwill that's been worn 1,000 times.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So why would
Right.
why would I spend 60, 70, 80 bucks on a t-shirt where half the sleeve is missing? And that's supposed to be art. You know what I mean? So I said all that, man, because you looking at your stuff and what you've created, it's tying into, igniting the passion. And you have a almost ingenious way to be able to get some traction with what you're doing. So I see some of the stuff you're doing, on Instagram. Is it a tiny microphone that you talk? Is it one of those small?
Man, that is a $28 microphone that I got off of their little lavalier mic that I got off of Amazon. And yeah, I'll be hitting the streets.
Because I know some people do the little tiny microphone. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
They do the little thing. But
Nah,
but
not
the
that
thing
little
is,
cute thing.
share with some of the audience like what's your the thought process when you're going out there and asking some of these interesting questions and then being able to take your clothing and put it in the hands of potential customers.
Right. So, I told you guys a little bit about my history with being a YouTuber, and that channel was actually doing pretty good at the time that I was doing it. So, like I said, I was sitting there with over 5,000 subscribers to that channel, posting absolutely nothing. And so I was like, what's another way I could get some exposure? Because, there's a million brands out there. And why would anybody come look at my brand when they've got a whole slew of brands that they can look at?
Right.
So, I was just trying to think of some ways to get some more exposure to my brand. And already seeing I have the video background experience and I have that channel sitting there, I was like, let's come up with a street interview style thing where I just go out, do interviews with people, ask them questions. Pretty much if they participate, they get some of my clothing. They get exposed to it, viewers get exposed to it, provide some entertainment, and hopefully, in the end, this is a business. I want people to come back and, peep my brand and buy some stuff. So to answer your question, I grabbed the mic, those little cheap mics I was talking about on Amazon. Went to my favorite bar downtown Phoenix. Shout out Cobra.
Wait, you whispered that.
Cobra Arcade.
Cobra
Arcade.
That's
right. Yes, Cobra Arcade
Arcade
is that fire.
Cobra Arcade.
Cobra Arcade is that fire. I ain't gonna sit here and lie, but keep going.
Yeah. It's a good time. So, anyways, I was like, let's go where the drunk folks are, because that's where you're gonna get the best entertainment.
Yeah.
So, I went out there with a buddy of mine, and we started filming. I originally started doing like trivia questions about Phoenix and certain things like that. But usually when I go out, what I want to do is tie what's going on into some of the clothing, like how you mentioned. So the first couple I was doing trivia. I have a Phoenix tee. And I was asking people questions about Phoenix, and the way that went is if they answered 3, all right, that's what I said. Look, I ain't gonna cap. That's what I said on camera. They answered the 3 questions, they got a shirt. But at the end of the day, anybody that participated, they got a shirt. And then from there, I just started getting more creative with what I was doing. Like I had some Pac and Biggie shirts that I went out with one time, some Aaliyah and DMX ones, and I was like, hey, finish the lyrics. So I'll sit there, play the song, let the people finish the lyrics if they could. And yeah, so pretty much all the idea behind that is 1, to get more exposure to Burning Buddah, but 2, also open up another avenue of possibly, monetization and bringing more income in.
So not only you doing obviously some dope shirts, you're doing the winter brand right now.
Yes, sir.
I saw one time, I think I missed it. You did a post up. So tell us about the post up. Sometimes, how often do you do those?
With the pop-ups, realistic.
Pop-ups, excuse me.
Yeah, realistic.
Pop-ups.
I was gonna ask about that.
Huh?
I said I was gonna ask him if you do pop-ups.
I do. So I'm gonna tell you guys because I'm a little petty. So back when I first,
I'm Project Petty too, straight up.
they call me Petty Murphy.
Oh gosh.
That's how petty I am. No, but so I just want to throw this out there. So back in right before COVID, I was like, I'm ready. I'm gonna start doing these pop-ups because I originally started Burning Buddah online only, and then so I started getting into pop-ups. I got my tents, got all the stuff, and the thing that's popping out in Phoenix is First Fridays. Currently, that's the thing.
Definitely.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a booth at First Friday and sell my Burning Buddah clothing out there. Gonna be thousands of eyes on my stuff. So I put everything together. I go through their process. Applications, send the pictures of the booth. I'm like, we in there, baby. They denied me.
What?
They were like,
wow.
nah. And what it was a split. It has to go up against a panel, and there was like 7 people, community members that are part of Roosevelt Row. Long story short, it was like a 3-4 split. Of course, I fell on the bad side of it. So they're like, unfortunately, your brand just isn't fine art enough.
What?
So,
I mean,
What?
I've been to. You've been to First Friday.
I
right?
have.
I was just at First Friday yesterday,
So I'm saying,
and by
What?
wow,
what?
So-
And the standard that they were trying to push you to art enough. I'm saying people.
No, I know. Based off these 2 pieces right here that I'm looking at right now, how was this not displayed? How did they deny that at a First Friday?
bro, I have nothing for it other than the fact that I want to say respectfully, F them. I found ways to go around it. So,
Yeah.
Cobra being my favorite place downtown, it's right there on Roosevelt, near Roosevelt Road, along where First Friday is.
Yeah.
So I just started doing pop-ups with Cobra because,
Okay.
I'm in with the owner and a lot of the employees there. And so realistically now, every now and then I'll do like a First Friday-esque at Cobra where I'm still hitting that First Friday traffic. But realistically, I do any type of events. We had mentioned Melrose Kitchen table.
Yeah.
And so I've been working a lot with him lately, been eating there a lot. And he's pretty much opened up his venue for me to do pop-ups. So that I'm going to keep that going. Probably 1 to 2 Saturdays out of each month, go over there and pop up. But realistically, any events that's going on, I try to keep my ear low to the ground and be like, oh, we got this going on over there. I'll pop up there. I'll pop up there. So to answer, I hope that answered your question. I was a long way about it. I just want to take that quick jab at First Friday, folks. You can't stop me, baby. I still found a way
Have
around
you ever
it.
heard of know this girl named Toya? She has a company called Rep Your Brand.
No, never.
Okay, so this is a phenomenal woman. Like, she has all these vendors, right? These companies, and they do pop-ups like all over the city. They're actually gonna be in Vegas for the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got
let's
if
network
you
real
hook
quick.
up with her, you just Rep Your Brand on Instagram. Her name is Toya. Get in there, like, you got access to all of that. So
Cool, yeah. So I always said I'm not a networker, I'm not this, I'm not that. But realistically, I'm a person that likes to talk and communicate and
yes.
every time I go out I
Yes.
meet people. So realistically, I guess that is the networking
Yes.
portion
Yes.
of it.
Yeah, you need people.
Yeah, so
I don't know. I mean, listen, I understand you have no problem putting your hand to the plow and pulling and doing your thing, right? All of us grind.
All of us.
All of us
Sure,
grind.
yeah.
But you need people, bro.
You do.
Like, you need
No,
people,
no,
man.
trust
And
me,
that's
I
the
know
thing
that.
about it. That's you cannot. A lot of times it's hard to advance. I used to be the one-man band. Like I said, getting to filming this documentary, I chose to use my advanced class, my 3-4 class, and again, I'll explain that in another time. But doing that was extremely hard because usually, we have somebody like Tasha, I can give one statement to, and I can turn my back, and it's done. Right. Because you have peoples. But not just having people that know what they're good at what they do. And takes away from the stuff that off your lap, off your shoulders to get stuff done. So yeah, man. Networking, man. Because sometimes people, this right here, literally, you're having a conversation.
Right.
I didn't get a chance. I had no idea she had that between her ears, that information. I didn't tell her to drop that to you. None of that at all. But that's how it sometimes happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But so when you do get that situation going on, that's again, being blessed to be able to have somebody say, hey, have you ever considered this? Think about this right here. So that's another reason why I do the documentary. Because there's a lot of people that have a lot of talent and a lot of information and a lot of skills and everything, but they may not have the avenue or the people and stuff that can be able to do it,
Absolutely.
or the finances. So yeah, man, networking, yes, please.
yes,
Please. I mean, you and I talked about off camera, and I'm like, bro, we can do some things, and we can make it happen. But the reality of it is, you have to. I was a one-man band. I would
Right.
take multiple cameras, set up everything, audio,
Oh
all
my
that different
gosh.
thing, lighting. She know too.
I do.
So it's strenuous and stressful.
Yes.
But if we were shooting Circles. She was part of Circles. We were shooting Always. The the director, I'm walking around like I'm just checking certain things. I'm looking around, people gaffing, lighting up, people doing things, and if it wasn't them, then it's me. So that's the thing about it, man.
Right.
So yeah, you growing your brand, you grinding, you doing your thing. That's another reason why I want you to come sit down and talk to us on the bonus stuff. It's bonus footage because you making good stuff, right? You making good clothing, you making good content. So with that, why not? Everybody don't know.
Absolutely.
They only know because you're moving your feet, and it's always it's only a certain amount of people that catch it at that one point. But if you start networking, then somebody is talking about your stuff and putting your stuff out there and doing stuff while you sleep. And that's part of it too as well. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, but get to, are you from Phoenix?
I claim Phoenix. So
you're a Phoenician. He claims to be a Phoenician, everybody.
I mean,
he claims to be a Phoenician.
you sound like you challenging that. Let me
Because the way you
explain.
said it, when you said it, you ain't say it with your chest when you said what you was your Joseph Explosive. He said that with his chest, ladies and gentlemen. But when I said, "Hey, you from Phoenix?" Claim Phoenix.
Well, I claim Phoenix. So
Okay.
I'm not originally from Phoenix. I was born in Kansas, of all places,
Wait. What part of Kansas?
Junction City, Kansas. From my
That
understanding,
sound like in the backyard, or in the back Hicks.
it was a military area because my dad was in the army at the time.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So we were there long enough for him to get into some trouble and he kicked rocks and came over here when I was 2, and we've been here.
Okay, so
Okay,
okay.
yeah, okay.
That makes sense.
You
You ain't claiming
You here.
You Phoenix all day, all night. My bad. I was just saying he ain't saying with that. He ain't rep Phoenix like some of these people that I meet out here be repping Phoenix. Like,
You know, you're
yes,
right.
son.
I be meeting people, they've been out here for like 6 years. They're like, yeah, I'm from Phoenix.
So wait. Eric is a
Nah.
diehard Diamondbacks fan. Like he just like love it. Yep, Phoenix all day.
I'll rep
Eric.
D-backs.
Yeah,
I'll rep
D-back.
D-backs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He said it with pride. So that's when you didn't say it with pride. That's why I was like,
You know, I love Phoenix, but these sports teams, they'll let you down.
You know what? And I'm homegrown Phoenix, and I ain't gonna lie, they will let you down.
Man.
That is one why I'm not a Cardinals fan.
okay, that's
Hey, that's
But
how,
I'll rep Suns and Diamondbacks all day.
okay.
Those are my downtown teams.
that's how you
Okay.
know a true Phoenician. When they support the local sports teams.
Yes.
And it's like them battered wives. Like, they always go back to them. It's like they let you down every year, and yet you still
Hey,
withhold.
the dude slided text and then start a conversation and you just like, I ain't gonna even look at that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you talking and all of a sudden, yeah, that's how them Cardinals be doing with them they peoples. Hey, they got excited when they went to that Super Bowl though. That was their highlight of the year.
Yeah, we saw that. That worked out.
So yeah, you're from Kansas, man. You Did you go to school at all? Post high school?
Yes, I did that up in. So I was in the Marine Corps as well.
Oh, I remember you told me that.
Yeah,
Totally
right
forgot about that.
after high school, I went into the Marine Corps. So I was over in North Carolina, and I did a little bit of local community college out there. Until my command was like, no, denied. So
Wow.
I didn't quite finish that. But when I went to Washington State, I ended up getting my associates out there in digital design.
That's what's up.
And came back, did some other things here.
Okay.
And then went to PC and was working on a music. I ain't even gonna lie. I was doing that because I wanted to take a break from work, but I still wanted to get paid. And the VA got this amazing thing to where if you go to school, they'll pay for all of your school, your books, your tuition,
and
pay
pay you while you actually.
an allowance for housing. Man, so I took advantage of that and was like, what we gonna do? We gonna do what everybody do, mess with some music. So, so that's what I did.
So you say you try to be a rapper, or you were a producer, or what?
No, it was more along the producer lines. And yeah, it was fun. while it
So,
lasted.
but it's crazy. But the thing about it, though, man, it's crazy how our paths take us different directions, right?
Absolutely.
So you're still staying in the realm of being creative, right? And you're still staying in the entrepreneurial type thing where you're trying to do your thing and trying to grind. And it's weird. I mean, like I had my first bachelor's degree is in theater, speech, and cinematography, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then I navigated. I remember literally my counselor telling me, like, what you're trying to get into, you're gonna have to live in California or live in New York. because that's what a hotbed for film, hotbed for film is, right?
Right.
And for me, I was like, nah, I'm not trying to live in New York. So and I didn't know anybody in California, right? Not knowing that I was gonna be a state away, you know what I'm saying? At 29 when I moved here, but I came full circle. But I was like, no, I don't know anything. So I ended up finishing that, and then had a conversation with a superintendent of the school where I was working at and coaching, and he was like, I want you to do this. And I was like, I'm not doing special. I don't know anything about special education. I'm not doing that. And that literally was, when I said yes, it kickstarted a path to get me eventually where I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
But everything I learned during that path of working in special education and for 10 years, 10 or 12 years, all the skills I picked up and other things were applicable to what I'm doing now. Creating content, a director, an educator in film. So it's crazy listening to you talking about how, yes, I was essentially robbing the government, but
Sir, I earned that.
hey, no, listen, that was a joke. 100% joke. No, he was not. I repeat, not stealing from the government. He was actually earned.
That was legit.
That was legit. Every time, I was doing.
It's all good, man. People do it every day.
Hey, we're gonna keep that down. That's not for the gram.
That's the pass.
That's not for the tube. That's not for the gram. That's for our off-camera conversation. We'll talk about that. You might want to turn. You might want to help me on that. Network me on that one. No, but the thing is, man, like you, right where you doing right now, man. So you got into the music. How long were you in the music stuff?
Oh, that was short-lived. That was like, well, I'm not even gonna lie. So the PC specifically, like getting educated in it, that was about 2 years.
Yeah.
At Phoenix College, but realistically, I've messed with music my whole life. Never on any type of serious tip. Like you touched on the whole creative. Like a creative when you meet a creative.
Yeah.
Like either they doing this or they doing that or they doing that. But at the end of the day, they got to be creating, and you can kind of see that in the story that I've been telling you. How YouTube and then. Doing the video stuff out on the street, doing the clothing. I always got to be doing some type of creative type work. Otherwise, I feel like I'm not living.
And that's the thing too. And that is so true because Eric and I talked about this a number of times. I know I just feel personally extremely fortunate and blessed because I'm experiencing purposeful living, not just having a job or a career.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's to me is where some people, live their life in a cycle where they go from Monday to Wednesday and they're like, oh, it's hump day. And they get to Friday and they're like, yeah. And they get to Sunday, like Tasha just talking about, we got to go back to work. I need another week. But in all actuality, she loves what she do.
I do.
So the thing is, it's like, I know E loves what he do. I know E has some amazing, plans in the future that he wants to endeavor, which he's going to push himself to get to that. But it's a matter of, it's a grind at times, but we get to do stuff that we actually enjoy and love.
Right.
You know what I mean? That we can get excited about, right? I'm not just going and doing no shade on anybody else that's grinding in a job or whatever to survive. It's just the fact that you were fortunate enough to be able to tap into that creativity, right? Mm-hmm. And then feed it different ways to be able to get to where you're at right now. Absolutely. So you can take all the skills you require and apply those skills to the things you're doing right now.
Absolutely, and that's one thing. Like I would tell anybody that's watching this. Like now we're gonna turn this into some motivational stuff. Nah, but that's what I want to share. Like with people that are watching, because I share with my son often. I'm like, anything you can do, learn, pick up, do it. It might not make sense at the moment, but it always comes full circle, like you said, and it might work out. I'm gonna share this with you real quick. So we all work for the same organization in our day jobs, right?
Yeah.
So when I moved back from Washington, had that shiny new certificate for, you know, that digital design, which, what is a digital design? Whatever.
Dude said shiny new certificate like he was like knocking the dust off that joint. Yes, like Calvin back. Well, I'm actually much older than y'all. I might date myself
I
right
think I'm
now.
older than you.
But no, I'm older than you, son. So I remember McDonald's was trying to get more African Americans into their thing, so they had Calvin walking around. Well, yeah, I know. You see, look Eric.
Oh, yeah, I remember Calvin.
Eric made the dog face.
I don't know.
You remember that? Yeah.
Calvin
I
was
remember
happy to
Calvin.
go to
Yeah,
work.
yes. Calvin was like, he was happy walking in, and all the people and the black people and the grandmas was high fiving and everything. That's how you sound, literally. little shiny certificate. Calvin was like, his whole life has changed because he put on a McDonald's hat, little visor, and a nice little. And I'm sitting there like, I'm sitting as a kid like, nah, I work at McDonald's. And they like,
Right?
I work at McDonald's, bro.
I ain't got
Literally,
that
my
feeling.
whole I come home smelling like stuff that I ain't even want to even talk about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, your new shiny certificate, the digital. What did that lead you to?
So it led me back to Camelback High School, where I graduated from. He was my
Shout out Spartans.
Ayo. That's a squad. So it led me back to my high school mentor, the guy that got me like really into video production and stuff like that. His name is Bob Dudley. Shout out Bob Dudley. I know
That's
he's
what's
out there.
up. Shout out to you.
So I always had in my mind, you know, Marine Corps, all this other stuff I was doing. I was like, if I ever go back to Phoenix, I'm gonna tap in with Bob Dudley, work for the school district. And somehow, some way, it all worked out. But anyways, I went back to Camelback. I was like, yo, Bob, I'm here. I need a job. He was like, well, I mean, the way things work at the district, you don't just walk up and be like, I need a job. So he tried to call somebody in IT and say, hey, I got, a guy, and maybe you can, jump there in IT and then move around here. But he accidentally called the wrong person, the wrong number, called district office in the marketing department, and the manager at the time, he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I dialed the wrong person. And the manager was like, but what were you looking for? And he was like, well, I got a guy here. He graduated. He's a good videographer, and he's looking for a position. Turns out the manager of the marketing department was like, we just lost our videographer. So
that's what's up.
I said all that to say, I did end up getting that position, had to fudge a little bit. It was like, do you work on Macs? And Bob's like,
yep.
I ain't touched a Mac a day in my life. Yes, sir.
I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn it.
I'm learn
I'm going to learn today.
It was a struggle. But I was saying all that to say that although I got that little degree, we all know how to stuff work. I got that little thing in digital design. I skated through that course. But all the things that I learned being a YouTuber, where I had to learn Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects,
DaVinci Resolve,
Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve. Was
No.
anything that was on my radar at that time. But yeah, so all those skills that I had learned to do my YouTube stuff all profited me when I came into this position. And I'm not on this level.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was doing really good for the department. They hadn't seen anybody come through and have those type of skills. But if there's anything I want to extrapolate for anybody that's watching, especially youngsters, learn any and everything you can, because honestly, if I hadn't been messing with the YouTube stuff, I wouldn't even been qualified or past the prerequisites to get the position that I did there. Yeah. And it's been that way with everything. Like, kind of touching back how you were talking about, like, you hit these little creative areas, but like in every single thing I've done, every job, every opportunity that I've had, it always touches back to something that I did for whatever random reason, or learned or messed with back in the day, to help me out now.
And that's
or
a great,
help me out
and
in
that's
whatever position I'm
that's
in.
dope, bro, man. Because that's literally how I ain't gonna say it in front, how I look at what I've done and where I'm at right now. I mean, I just believe in providence. I believe in God's providence and how He was just opening doors that I wanted open, and closed doors that I didn't even. I mean, opening doors that I didn't want open, and then closing doors I thought I was trying to pull in because I thought I wanted to be in this area, in this area.
Right.
But again, not being able to have that ability to see down the line, where you're headed to and where you're going. I look back and I'm like, wow, it's amazing. Just literally how I got from special education back into film. And to me, it blows my mind to this day. I tell people all the time, they're like, well, when you start your production company, I'm like, yeah, I had a dad cam, a vacation dad cam that you just put right here, and you hold it and you capture your kids. I mean, I didn't have a child then, but I have a child now, but I had like a little
Right.
fold out, boop, push
Yeah.
a button and you're doing it. And I'm trying to convince people to let me film stuff and create stuff for them with confidence. Right. You know, it's gonna be dope. I got this right here. You know what I'm saying? No lighting, no nothing. So it's those things, man, that all those little moments right there, you know what I'm saying, that lead up to you and us, like our stories, doing things that it's beyond just the imagination. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why I wanted to bring you on, bro. That's why I wanted to bring you a part of this, you know, so they can hear your story. They can hear not just you creating, you know, clothing like somebody that's creating clothing. It's more than that too. And it's more than that. So, and that's the thing that's the feeling I left with it. I'm sitting there listening to you while we breaking bread, and I'm like, dude, this is more than just, you know, clothing. You're literally putting your heart, your soul, your emotions, all these different things in what you're doing. It's carefully thought out. It's not just monetization. Yes, we want you to go over there, buy the clothes, you know what I'm saying, put it out there.
BurningBuddhaClothing.com.
BurningBuddhaClothing.com. Gotta get the plug in. But the reality of it is, it's actually more than that.
Right.
Absolutely.
man.
Something behind it.
It's something behind it that people can wear with pride and with meaning, and they know
Right.
that they're part of something that you're doing that also can inspire, you know, other young people to this point, man. So I really appreciate you taking the time, bro, to come and being with us.
Man, I appreciate you having me. Usually, I'm on the other side of the camera, so that
And
this is
I
interesting.
prefer
All of
being,
us.
I
All of
prefer
us. All of us.
being on the other side of
You
the
and
camera.
I might believe him, but this camera come on like
I prefer. I just have a way of masking it. What
guess,
you're
I-
seeing is just me masking it.
Hey,
Period.
yeah.
I prefer to be behind that joint or giving instruction and direction, and then, you know, writing the characters. And I love that. I love that aspect of it. That's why I like writing and directing. I love the coming up with the concept and thinking about it. But I hate lighting, so don't ask me. Brian, I appreciate you, bro. You my guy. Brian is awesome. Tosh, know Brian. You know, we have people, sound, audio.
Yes.
I'm not going to even go there. Eric saw me struggle with, and you have saw me struggle with audio. So yes, I master this very well. But other things I'll prefer to do besides doing that.
With all that said, don't let this man fool you. He is a genius at this stuff, bro.
And
he is seriously.
hey,
He is,
I
he is.
appreciate the kind words.
He is.
I just, on a real tip, I have the ability to absorb a lot of information, but I grind, and that's where I think we are kindred spirits.
Yeah.
And we work well together because I don't have to worry about like you not grinding. So you have your lane of what you do, I do, but
Yeah.
then we come together, we beasts.
Oh yeah.
We in this joint like, oh, we about to kill this. Nobody gonna do what we do in the state of Arizona. That's how I feel about it. And then we bring her on, and then she on, and I'm over here like, hey man, you can kill this too. Let's come get it. And I'm like, we all gonna eat and we gonna kill, and that's how I feel about it.
Yes.
So it empowers me, it infuses me, and then we connect, and I'm like, bro, I'm telling you what we can do. Say less.
Oh shoot, we working. He don't really. He
That's
don't
what I'm
know
saying.
what he signed up for.
Listen, he don't know. Literally, at the end of the day, we're gonna go get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
This
Yes,
says this table is full of drinks and awesome good cigars. Shout out Torch. But it's the fact that we all can eat.
Yes, sir.
Production company. No egos. We gonna eat. We gonna eat. He doing his thing here in his lane. He got a dope wife. I'm doing my thing. She doing her thing. But we come together. It's over.
Yeah.
And then you do your thing. We connect. It's over. You know what I'm saying? So I
Absolutely.
appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
I wish we could have got you on the documentary side, but on the other, this is something still we'll be able to put out there to help build your brand. Again, get the plug again, please, for the people.
All right, so the website is BurningBuddhaClothing.com. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I would say Website number 1, YouTube number 2. Let's get that monetization. You know what I'm saying?
Monetization. It's okay. I got you. I got you. See, I got you back already. Monetization. We good.
Appreciate you, bro. Holding me up. Instagram, Facebook, and it's all Burning Buddah. Website burningbuddhaclothing.com. That's where you guys can find me.
All right, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Salute.